Here's a quick video about my FM9 build. For context to understand some of my choices, in 2008 I had an elite rack rig, but I sold all that for the AXFX Ultra and have upgraded over the years to the AXFX 2 all the way to the AXFX 3 Turbo. It's an amazing tone machine, but I had a back injury last year that made downsizing appealing. Also, some of the venues I play are footprint challenged. The FM9 was the logical choice. I planned on using my New York City pedal board that I've used for years, but I needed to have my Shure PSM900 transmitter on the board. That wasn't going to fit, so I decided to build the new rig on a Temple Audio Duo 34. I looked at a lot of other players' FM9 rigs for inspiration. The most helpful was Michael James's post, especially his excellent video. He covered many of the logistics I would be facing, especially since he uses the PSM900 as well. His build was far more ambitious with a second half rack unit underneath, and all of this in a Temple Duo 24. There's no need for me to cover what Michael has already done a fab job documenting. I will focus on things I did different or details he didn't include, but I recommend you check out his video first for context. First, I wanted to enlarge a few holes on the back end of the board to accommodate XLR and other larger plugs. I added rubber gaskets to protect the cables. I cut a slot on the end of one of the oval holes to insert the IEC power plug for the FM9. To do this, I had to remove the left side of the panel to make the cut. And like Michael, I switched out the dinky stock feet of the Temple board for some taller ones. Having a rack for decades, I'm used to being able to turn on my rig with just one switch. It turns on the rack and my speakers via the switch on the power conditioner. I wanted the same thing for this rig. Therefore, I needed an AC outlet. None of the Temple modules facilitated this. In fact, their methodology is all about IEC. The PSM and my USB power block have AC plugs. No options for garden variety AC plugs seem short-sighted to me on Temple's part. I considered the Temple PowerCon module, but it costs $60. Plus you have to spend another $20 for a PowerCon to Edison cable. $80 to connect my speakers is a bit ridiculous. I overcame this hurdle with modifications. First, I cut the IEC plug off the AC mains micro module and added an AC female plug that connected to a couple of AC adapter splitters. I considered several different alternatives in an effort to be cleaner and tidy, but in the end, this did the job better. I searched long and hard for a female AC socket that would fit the panel hole on the Temple plate hole. I could not find one, so I MacGyvered one with a Dremel tool to fit and then insulated it with shrink wrap tubing for safety. I'm not recommending this for other people to try. I like the bling LED lights I see on some people's boards, but I also like the plexiglass glow riser that's by Zen Rigs. Unfortunately, the exchange rate and overseas shipping made them cost prohibitive, but luckily, I'm blessed to have a friend with a laser cutter, and he cut them for me. I added other ports, a USB-C port to charge my phone or tablet, a 3.5 jack to go to the input 2 on the FM9 so I can play tracks from my phone, a USB-B port to connect the FM9 to either my laptop or tablet, a 1/4-inch TRS input for my in-ear monitor signal to go to the Shure PSM900, and of course the 1/4-inch guitar in, and XLRs for front of house and FRFR. I had the good folks at Performance Audio make custom TRS cables for my pedals using gray Mogami cable and Nutrix connectors. They were right angle to the pedal and then straight for the side to go to the FM9, so they don't conflict. I wanted a shield just for the main screen, and I was able to get one from Caleb at Seba Systems, who happens to be based in my city, Vancouver, Washington. It looks simple and straightforward, but it took a fair amount of trial and error to work out the placement of the components and wiring paths. A top pro rig builder would have done a better job, but for me, this is pretty clean. Some folks are fine with a soft case, but I need a solid case because I use a cart to move everything in one trip with my speakers riding on top of the case. I went with a Pelican Vault V700. It's the perfect size for the Duo 34 and just fits inside the rock and roller R6 RT cart. Switching to the FM9 was a significant hardware change, but also a different approach to the way I use a controller. Up until now, it was all about instant access buttons for presets and effects. Now I have a song-focused methodology to the switches. That's the biggest learning curve to the new rig, but worth the effort. The FM9 just had its maiden voyage at rehearsal with the band. Anytime I try a new piece of gear live, I feel a bit of excitement and angst. But this was a whole new rig and the first time in decades of not having a rack. I had a lot riding on this approach succeeding and was bracing myself for discovering some overlooked details. But rehearsal went well with only a few tweaks needed. That's pretty much it. I hope this helps you with your FM9 rig. Thanks for watching.